Hey everyone, today we wanted to talk about track cycling in the US and some of our thoughts on why the sport hasn't taken off like it has in a lot of other countries, despite having plenty of talent in this country to do well internationally. There's definitely a missing link. We believe it's lack of support for community programming and athletes that are coming into the sport or has a lot of talent but just don't have the resources to fund it themselves. So we sat down with some friends that are far more talented than we are and asked how they got started as a rider, how they think we could grow the sport a little bit better, and what would help them specifically grow as athletes. But yeah, we appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you like stuff like this, let us know, and we will definitely do our best to keep more of this content coming. Thanks.
So my path to being an elite athlete was, I started on the road, street sprints. My dad put on bike races. He was an official. He was active in the local bike scene. So I did his races, the races he put on. And then when I was 12, I went to the velodrome in Trexlertown, PA. And I was hooked. Like the first time on the track, I loved it. I really enjoyed it. They had a really great junior program. They had a great amateur program. You had to develop as a rider and then get to a certain ability, and then you can race Tuesday nights, and then the professionals race on Friday nights. So they had kind of a pathway for juniors and amateurs to start on the track, get used to it, learn it, love it, and get better, and then start racing more with more experience.
I got started with cycling. I was running with an organization called Achilles International in Nashville, Tennessee, where I went to college. I met people who started the tandem cycling program with the Tennessee School for the Blind. But through that, I met one of our Paralympians, Pam Fernandez, and that she ran camps at the OTC. And it sounded like an awesome opportunity. So I applied, and they gave me funding to go there. And I absolutely loved it. I learned a ton from those camps.
Kelly Clark with USA Cycling set up a women's intro to the velodrome class, and that's how I got my start. It was just a really approachable kind of situation. Kelly Clark was great.
I sort of fell into cycling. I was attending blind rehab at the West Palm VA, and we have mandatory recreational therapy, and it's just to expose you to the possible adaptive sports that are available.
I got into sport by training down here at the Colorado Springs Velodrome through Bicycle Racing Association of Colorado and USA Cycling. They used to hold these junior camps. Basically, it was an introduction to the track for junior riders, and when I was 18, I came down along with a bunch of other juniors ranging from probably like 12 to 18 to get introduced to the track, and immediately fell in love with it, and that was like a really easy path in for me.
In order to develop elite riders on a whole, and mostly find elite level track cyclists too, there need to be programs in place for people to, first of all, get on the track and try the track. The track is a super safe place to be. You don't have to worry about traffic. Coaches can give you immediate feedback because they can watch you, what you're doing. They can watch your starts. They can watch how you ride a bike. They can give you pointers straight away. You can ride with people who are more experienced, and they can help guide you and teach you how to ride a track bike.
You've got to give an opportunity for these young riders to be able to develop their skills. And so the mission here, the vision that we have, and why I ran for the USA Cycling Track Committee was to continue to spread this vision of start local, start with young folks, get these parents excited about letting their young athletes come learn about track cycling.
For me, it was moving to Colorado and having access to the velodrome. And once I had access to the velodrome, I was really able to focus specifically on track cycling. And then Paige, being my pilot and doing powerlifting, she really helped me get into the lifting. So I gained a lot of strength just by being partners with Paige. And, Brian has helped out a ton with his coaching. But the main thing is living in Colorado and having access to those resources like the velodrome.
So I started training with Fryer, and then the Lawrences saw me, and I could barely ride a bike at the time because I had no cycling experience whatsoever before that. Not since I was a kid. I hadn't ridden a bike. So the Lawrences saw me. They introduced me to Mark Tyson. Mark Tyson was looking for a starter for Maddie Godby for nationals, and that was my first real race, was nationals, starting for Maddie Godby for the team sprint. It was like a real big like sports training montage kind of thing. Everybody helped me out with, like the Swedner, Eric Swedner and Claire Olson helped me with like straps and with equipment. Jim and Rebecca were obviously, super helpful. They're always a big part of the Colorado track cycling community. Brian helped out. He wasn't my coach yet. And then I worked with Mark Tyson daily.
You had a huge elite training group here, and most of those elite guys, as well as some of the masters riders, community riders, would help coach the camp. So you had all these community programming people helping raise up the next generation of cyclists. And then, pretty quickly, several days a week, I was able to join some of the elite riders. Those were people like Bernard Esterhuizen, some Olympians, Danny Roberts, David Espinoza, Maddie Godby, riders like that, that are now Olympians. And the juniors were able to, some days be able to train with those elite riders. So just being around that in general, even if you aren't training with them, just inspiration-wise, is huge, because you see, when the elites are communicating much more with the community, it's like, wow, okay, like as a junior, I can achieve that. And also, I think for the elites, it helps because you have the community backing you. You have all these masters riders and juniors and stuff that are cheering for you. So when you separate the two, the community from the elite side, I think there's definitely a gap on, and it causes a problem on both sides. You don't get as good of development, and I don't think you get as good of elite riders when you don't have a community backing you.
So to get people involved, you're going to have a place and a space for people to gather. And for track cycling, that's a velodrome. Training on the track is so important, and track time is important.
Our focus has been and will continue to be on that junior development bandwidth, ages 8 to 16, 17, to get them in, teach them the skills and the disciplines. Connie Cycling, awesome program out of the Carson Velodrome, Velosport Center. There's Gideon Massey coaches a bunch of people there, former Olympian. We have the network, Chris, and it's just about providing the opportunity by sponsoring these races, bringing the young people together, like with our Junior Rules series and the Junior Madison series we've done with Coach Tim Roach, to facilitate the opportunity for them to get that experience. And we've seen many be able to go on and race at the Berlin and Copenhagen events, where they now start getting some international experience. None of that would be possible if we didn't teach them the skills early and give them years of racing experience opportunities.
So like a lot of the reason I've been successful as a bike racer, mainly cyclocross racer, was because I had the opportunity to ride all the disciplines of bikes. Riding the road for endurance and fun, racing crits. Being on the track when I was 12, developing the track ability with learning how to pedal a bike on the track, learning how to float the pedals on the track, like just learning where to be in a bike race, how comfortable to be riding close to other people, riding behind a motorcycle on the bike or on the track, just so you learn how to go really fast and follow wheels. And it's like, there's a certain skill you need to do that well. But you also, motor pacing helps in the fact that it really develops your high end. And if you don't have the skill to motor pace, you kind of miss the ability to train that high end as well. So with the track specific training, the road training, got on the mountain bike to develop mountain bike skills. When I got on the cyclocross bike, which is pretty much a combination of all those skills, since it's kind of a combination of road and mountain bike, you need the road endurance, you need the track speed because there's a lot of sprinting involved. It's just short, intense effort. And you need the mountain bike skills for the technical ability to ride well through sand and mud, through technical like loose terrain, dirt and grass and such. So like I'm super happy I was able to spend so much time racing on the track as a junior, and it's helped me become a successful cyclocross racer. And not only that, like the support from the track, if you do it right, you have junior programs, you've got amateur programs, you've got coaches who know what they're doing, who can help facilitate just that experience of becoming a better athlete, be a better bike racer. And if we don't develop juniors and young people soon enough, we're not going to develop Olympic athletes for the future, because bike racing nowadays are getting so fast and they're getting younger and younger. If we don't hit that early development years from 10 through 15, 16, and keep it fun and interesting and just develop the talent that we see come up, we're not going to see Americans winning medals when they're 30 or 25, or nowadays 23, 24. So it keeps getting younger. We need the experience. We need to develop the riders sooner rather than later.
So I think our focus needs to be, if we want to see continued development, if we want to really put a spirit of a rebirth of track cycling in America, it has to start at the local velodrome level with clubs, with velodrome associations.
Ashton Lambys are not born.
Mhm.
He had to ride, grassroots programming to get where he was. Mike Tyson didn't become a heavyweight champion of the world just walked into a ring. He had to go to a local youth center to become good.
Yeah.
You can't become a fighter unless you fight, and you can't become a rider unless you actually train.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yep.
At Star Track, we fully support all types of grassroots programming for bicycle riders. We believe that it encourages health, team building, mental health, and as long as it's diverse, equitable, and inclusive of everybody, we see no reason that nobody should be stopped from riding a bike competitively or otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.